Brock James, Ospreys attack coach. It was a bit of a roller coaster weekend, yeah?
It's tough, pretty tight-old Saturday afternoon, but yeah, we obviously finish on top of the World Shield is a great achievement for us. Something when I first spoke with Toby 2 years ago, one of our goals was obviously to challenge to be the best Welsh region, and to finish the season there is obviously quite pleasing.
Your reflections on the season, how do you think you went?
Yeah, it's obviously been a bit of a roller coaster. The group's obviously had to show some really good resilience through COVID. There's obviously been a few events around the club, around the team as well, with Ivan's accident. It's made it quite difficult, so there's been a lot of distractions off the field, but the boys have really pulled together and finished the season off well.
That resilience that the team has showed, how impressed have you been with that?
Well, it's something I was quite impressed with from the get-go. It's a very hard-working group. From day one, they want to work hard for each other. So it's about trying to encourage them to be smart around the work as well. So yeah, it's obviously made a big impression on me, and been a pleasure to work with.
A lot of tries scored in the last kind of weeks of the season. That must have been really pleasing, but obviously there was a lot of players missing as well for the 2 years that you've been here.
Yeah, obviously it's been quite frustrating as far as scoring points, scoring tries throughout the season. We've never been far away, and I think we've had since we got the boys back from Six Nations, there's been a good change in mindset, I'd say, to be a bit more positive in attack, and be a bit more aggressive with the ball, and put teams under pressure with the ball in hand. So I think we've done that a lot better, and I think as a group we get those players back, and there's a lot more competition at training. I think especially this last month we've had some guys that have really pushed, and there's been a lot of challenge for selection, and I think that's the challenge at training has obviously made us a lot better on the weekend.
Since you've been here, there have been 2 successive qualifications for Europe. You know, the Premier Tournament for all the teams in European rugby. You have a lot of experience of that. How satisfying was that for you, and what is the challenge going to be like for this group going forward?
I think that's obviously part of the challenge of the goal we set ourselves to be the best region in Wales. We get that qualification to Europe, so to have done that for 2 years in a row now is obviously part of that. So we're obviously really happy to be there. We spoke a bit about this year not being there to make up the numbers. Unfortunately, a couple of slow starts made it very tough for us against Racing, against Sale. So yeah, it put us in a tough position. But I think the boys can take a lot of confidence out of those performances. If we hadn't given them 21-point starts, we're in those games. Racing, we could have won that game. Sale, if it was just a little bit too far for us to come back. So I think it's a good challenge, and I think with the group of players we've got now, I think we've established a level where we want to be at, and now we need to kick on.
Your reflections of your 2 years here, Brock?
Obviously it's my first real coaching role. Great experience. Like I said, a group of players, British and Irish Lions, to guys playing their first professional games. Yeah, it's been a good experience learning from the players here. I'd not experienced Welsh rugby before, other than a couple games against the Ospreys, against the Scarlets. So yeah, it's obviously been great. On the other side of the table, for the first time as a coach, obviously Boothie's come in with a lot of experience through the Premiership. So I've obviously learned a lot from him, and then working with the guys in the office, the likes of Duncan and Fuss. Even on the S&C side of things, the physios, everyone's chipped in, and through a difficult time with COVID, we've had to manage things a little bit differently. So yeah, it's been a great experience, and I've learned a lot.
It must be hard leaving when you can see the team really starting to develop.
It is hard. I obviously bought into, when Toby signed on, he signed on 3 years, and my goal was to get through those 3 years with him as well. And I think, as we've seen the back end of this season, starting to put some decent performances in, and yeah, it's a bit disappointing to leave a year early. I think the Ospreys are in a position now where they should kick on. And to not be a part of that is obviously a little bit disappointing, but circumstances have dictated that I need to go back to New Zealand to be with my family. We've been apart for a while now, so I'm looking forward to getting back and spending some time with the kids.